He joined the army as a diver. He went on to be selected to join the elite SAS regiment, where he received a commendation for distinguished service while on a deployment to Iraq. He's got a unique sense of public service, though, because he's not long out of his uniform before he's putting his hand up to serve our country again. This time, he hopes, in the Parliament in Canberra. His name's Darcy Dunstan, and he joins me now from Geelong. Well, we'll get into your motivations to run for political office in a moment, Darcy, but on this very special day, how did you commemorate Anzac Day?
Thanks, Peter, for having me. So this morning I was fortunate enough to be invited down by the Torquay RSL to speak at the Torquay Dawn service. It was an honour, and it was a very, very large turnout from the community. It was about 10,000 to 12,000 people there. So it was really good to see the community getting behind Anzac Day in this region. And then we went back to the RSL in Torquay and we had a gunfire breakfast and then had a couple of beers.
Now, gunfire breakfast, remind me, that's a breakfast with rum in your cup, isn't it?
That's correct. It was done on Anzac Day in not Anzac Day, but it was done with the original Anzacs in the early 1900s.
Yeah, Peter Cosgrove, when he was Governor-General, invited me around there on Anzac Day one day and he introduced me to the joy of rum with my bacon and eggs. I can't say I'm a big fan, but I certainly gave it a go. Hey,
it's probably
is
the
there
only
any
day
difference?
that you can actually drink rum at 7 o'clock in the morning, where it's socially acceptable.
And get away with it. And not be called not be called an alcoholic. I'm fascinated, given you've worn the uniform on these big tribute days, and now obviously you're not wearing the uniform. Is it any different to commemorate Anzac Day in the services or out of it now?
No, Peter, I don't think it is. I think it's a day where all veterans bind together, whether they're in uniform or not. But it's also a special day for all Australians because it's a day where Australians bind together. And, you know, in the early days of Australia, in the Federation in 1901, we weren't a united country. We're a country of migrants. We're a country of farmers, miners, convicts, settlers. And when the young men and women got shipped off to the harrowing battlefields of World War I, they experienced things that many people in human history have never experienced before. And that created the Anzac spirit. They brought that Anzac spirit back to Australia, and that laid the bedrock of Australian culture. So it's a special day for veterans, but it's a special day for all Australians, I believe.
Look, you're right to remind us, I mean, as a country, before we were obviously a federation of states, we're a collection of colonial states, but once we became federated, we were only 14 years old as a country before our men landed on the beaches of Gallipoli. I mean, that is a sobering reminder. Hey, I have some spies down in Geelong. They said you knocked it out of the park this morning with your remarks at the dawn service, but you're going to try and win that area of Corangamite from the Labor Party at the next election. Geez, it's a big call to run for federal politics. What's motivated you to put your hand up?
Well, Peter, I'm a former tradie, I'm a soldier, and you know, no one is sticking up for hardworking Australians. And if there's one thing the military told me, it's to stand up for what you believe in, to have, you know, strong values. In the military, they'd call it a moral compass. But people in our community in Corangamite, they're struggling. I mean, I'll use my mum as an example. It's one of many. But, you know, she works at a hardware shop. She works all week. She works on the weekends. She has a mortgage, and after she pays her mortgage repayments, she can barely afford to turn the heating on. And you know what it's like, Peter, growing up in Victoria, it can get pretty cold. People are telling me that they're not taking their kids out on the weekend. People are telling me that they're not putting meat into their diet. I mean, is the government distracted? Are they got their eggs in the wrong basket? Are they not focused? Because we just need to get back to basics. And this is what really, really gets me out of bed in the morning. And I'm just really passionate about this, because what are we really focusing on? The standard of living is going down the drain.
I tell you what, Darcy Dunstan, you are welcome back on this show anytime you want to come back. I'm told you built your first house at 20. I think you're extraordinary. I wish you all the very best in your race at the next election. There you go. Tell you what, doesn't he remind you of Andrew Hastie? It's the vibe. We know how good Andrew Hastie's turned out since he got into office.